All right, let's get right into this explainer. For well over a decade now, Apple has absolutely defined what it means to wear technology on your wrist. I mean, they set the gold standard. But consumer tastes? They're evolving incredibly fast. And suddenly, the titan of Cupertino is finding itself playing defense against an entirely new kind of threat. To really grasp the sheer scale of the stakes here, we've got to talk about a truly mind-boggling number, $100 billion. That is the estimated lifetime sales of the Apple Watch over its 11-year run. Think about that for a second. This single device didn't just succeed, it essentially birthed a brand new hardware category and completely rewired the smartwatch market. It is a legendary success story. But, that brings us to the massive elephant in the room. The Apple Watch changed the game, so the absolutely crucial question we're unpacking today is, why is it suddenly falling behind? If it's been this undisputed king for 11 years, why is the innovation engine sputtering? And why is that intense momentum finally starting to fade? Chapter 1. An empire losing momentum. Let's look at how the Apple Watch is stalling out. You can actually see this stalling momentum plain as day in Apple's current sales tactics, which are, frankly, pretty unprecedented. They are increasingly relying on these rare, aggressive promotions just to move hardware. We're talking unusually steep discounts on Amazon, major price cuts at Best Buy, and they've even thrown the Apple Watch into the education store with direct discounts for the very first time. Historically, Apple guards its premium pricing and retail parity like a hawk. So seeing them pull these traditional retail levers, it's a massive flashing indicator that organic consumer demand is noticeably softening. And this sluggishness is bleeding right into the software too. Take the upcoming watchOS 27. It's really shaping up to be a highly incremental update. Instead of delivering major, groundbreaking capabilities that make you feel like you just have to upgrade, the focus is squarely on stability and really small refinements, like minor tweaks to heart rate tracking. Now, incoming CEO John Ternus has promised we'll see new services combining hardware and AI, but watchOS 27 proves their current playbook is incredibly cautious. It's leaving users without a compelling reason to ditch their older watches. Part 2, the screenless revolution. Let's explore these new wearables. What we're witnessing right now is a huge, fundamental shift in what consumers actually want. It's screen-heavy devices squaring off against screenless wearables. Look, people are just exhausted. They're tired of having yet another glowing rectangle vibrating on their wrist, begging for attention. They are actively pivoting away from full-blown smartwatches and towards passive, invisible monitoring. Things like minimalist bands and rings that quietly collect your health data without constantly demanding your focus. And this vibe shift? It has kicked the door wide open for some very nimble multi-billion-dollar competitors. You've got Whoop, you've got Aura, who, by the way, just filed confidentially for a US IPO, which tells you exactly how incredibly lucrative and mature this space has become. Plus, you have Google crashing the party with their highly aggressive $100 Fitbit Air. These guys are winning because they're emphasizing exactly what people are craving: better recovery, better sleep, and passive monitoring, rather than just stropping more app notifications to your arm. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman absolutely hit the nail on the head regarding Apple's Health app. He pointed out that navigating it, quote, often feels less like a modern consumer platform and more like the experience of reviewing charts in a waiting room. And he's so right. Despite years of heavy investment, the app is still cluttered. It feels clinical. Meanwhile, competitors like Whoop and Aura are giving users these beautifully readable, highly actionable insights every single morning. They're just in a totally different league right now. Chapter 3, Apple's Internal Health Crisis. The Talent Exodus. Under the hood, Apple is dealing with some serious leadership turbulence. It is a massive brain drain. Former COO Jeff Williams, who championed Apple's health push for years, retired last year. Tim Cook is stepping down as CEO this September, which means a huge shift in corporate vision is looming. Jay Blahnik, the driving force of Fitness Plus, is out following litigation. Stan Nang retired, and senior marketing manager Eric Charles left just this month. Look, this isn't your standard corporate turnover. The vital lifeblood of Apple's health and hardware talent is draining out, and in a lot of cases, they're walking straight through the doors of competitors like Aura. When you lose leaders like that, your major initiatives hit a brick wall. Case in point, Project Mulberry. This was supposed to be this incredibly ambitious AI health coaching service that would synthesize all your data. Fun fact, Apple's Eddie Q actually wears both an Aura and a Whoop personally, and he pushed hard for broader changes when he took over the health group to match those rivals. But despite his backing, Mulberry was scaled way back and delayed until later in the iOS 27 update cycle. So what's the root cause here? It really boils down to institutional risk aversion. Apple is choking on a toxic mix of workplace turmoil, chronic delays, extreme caution, and just pure incrementalism. It's wild, but the exact same hesitation that caused Apple to completely miss the initial wave of generative AI, it's showing up right here, right now, in their wearables division, totally freezing their ability to react to these faster, younger competitors. Chapter 4, The Future of Wearables. Let's look at Apple's next move. Now, if Apple has one silver bullet left in the chamber, it's probably their glucose monitoring project. This is an absolute moonshot initiative, aiming to detect elevated blood sugar without any finger pricks. It's a colossal technical hurdle, actually dreamed up all the way back in the Steve Jobs era. But today, overseen by engineering leader Zhongzhen Chen, who is known as a guy who gets things done, it's finally viewed as a potential breakthrough progressing toward a real consumer-grade product. If they nail this, no competitor could touch them. But they need to step on the gas because the wearables market is exploding in multiple directions all at once. Currently, Meta is moving 7 million Ray-Ban smart glasses a year, which proves people are absolutely willing to wear a face tech if it looks good. Soon, Google is dropping Android XR glasses with Samsung to grab that spatial computing space. And Apple, well, they're testing their own smart glasses, sure, but they aren't slated to arrive until 2027. The battleground is moving way, way beyond just the wrist. Meanwhile, Apple's software focus feels pretty scattered. Yes, they are rolling out new AI features in iOS 27, we're getting natural language in the Shortcuts app, wallpaper creation via Image Playground, a slick new grammar checker, and a revamped Siri with auto-deleting chats. These are great for keeping up with European regulations and general AI hype, but notice the glaring omission. None of this directly tackles the massive health and wearable gap that their competitors are currently exploiting.
Which brings us to the $100 billion question to close out this explainer. Will Apple build the screenless future, or have the competitors already won the race? Tim Cook has famously said he wants his ultimate legacy at Apple to be about healthcare. But as Aura marches toward an IPO and Whoop and Google sprint ahead with seamless AI-powered gear, we really have to wonder, can the company that built the most successful smartwatch in history actually pivot in time? Or do they just snooze their alarm on the next big revolution? Definitely something to think about as you track your sleep tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.